Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Worldology, and today we have some news that Battlefield 6 did for the beta debrief and has some changes made that's going to be in the final game, right? So now, look, there was this video, I've seen it, it was a video of a movement god, in Battlefield 6 that was using the movement to the best possible abilities that the movement can be, right? So the thing is, the movement in this game isn't that hard. We was seen on the list that we're the last movement. We have the last spot on the movement speed in the Battlefield history, in the Battlefield franchise, modern era. So it's like if this movement was either in hardline, because hardline is the fastest movement in regular pace, like in all around. If this was Battlefield Hardline and you was able to do this type of movement that's in Battlefield 6, oh man, it would have got nerfed on the spot. It would probably been nerfed in the open beta. So look, I'm gonna read this debrief, put it on the screen for you so you can read it, and yeah, we're gonna get into it. So first, the weapons that we're making targeted adjustments to deliver a more consistent and rewarding gunplay experience. This includes a general pass on recoil and tap fire characteristics across all weapons. So, for those of you who don't know, Battlefield 3 through Hardline had spread, and you had to tap or burst fire your weapon from like 50 meters up and above, with the AR or SMG if you're that far away with those type of weapons. And LMGs is like 200, 300, or 150, depending on what type of LMG you have, right? So you have to burst fire your weapon as further you away, like how I had to did in the background, right? So they are going to have increased spread. So just so you know, gunplay is probably going to be more unique than it was in the open beta, and it's going to take a little bit more skill in comparison to having a nerf movement, which is going to be way more crazy because if we have nerf movement, that means that having increased spread. Actually, I'm gonna say that in a bit. So focusing on further emphasizing their unique feel and improving range differentiation. We've also made changes to encourage more controlled tap firing and burst firing, rewarding precision and weapon mastery. Additionally, the M87A1 shotgun that requires more pellets to secure a kill. We are investigating the time to kill and time to death experiences, and we will share an update if definitive changes are made in these areas. God, the shotgun finally got nerfed. Shotgun finally got nerfed. So now we don't have to get one shot around the corner and 500 people who doesn't know how to play the game with ARs, which is practically the most useful weapons in Battlefield history, and SMGs, like this dude in the background that got shit on. He shouldn't have been using those type of weapons in the first place. You are now able to use that weapon and not one shot people. You will have to hit the target with more direct, accuracy. He got me there, but you have to hit a person with more direct accuracy, right? So now we on the movement. Movement mechanics have been adjusted to create a more balanced and traditional battlefield experience. So what does that mean about traditional? Because every single Battlefield 3 through Hardline, had the same type of movement. Hardline even got increasing speed, which made it a little bit harder for Battlefield players to play the game because it was way more faster, and it had the same movement that it did in the previous Battlefields. So is traditional meaning that it's going back, it's going to stay in this concurrent movement pace, and you'll be able to what's it called? Jump sway? I forgot what it's called. What's it called? Jumping while moving around. You know what I mean? I can't think of it right now. So are you able to do that and do all this type of slide and stuff like how it can? Or are they talking about a different traditional? And balance. How can you balance something that was already balanced in the game? You know what I mean? Like, it was balanced. The only thing that wasn't balanced was that bug, and y'all said y'all was going to remove the bug. So what's the point? And the thing is, when I was playing the beta, you don't see anybody in the background use any type of slide, no dive, none of this type of movement that I was using myself in the background. So what are they trying to fix and balance? What is more traditional? Y'all, hey, I want y'all to have the type of discussions in the comments or wherever. I don't know any type of, I don't know anybody who was doing those type of movements. I got hit with a slide one time. He did it in a good environment, in a good way, and everything. He caught me on guard. It doesn't take that much to tap a button, slide, and then get a kill. Especially if you have, aimbot on your controller or you have aimbot on your wrist. It doesn't matter. Nobody in this background was using movement. They was running in a tank. So look, we're going back. Momentum, especially horizontal speed carried from a slide into a jump, has been reduced. There is now a greater penalty for consecutive jumps, which lowers jump height and jumps are spammed. Firing while jumping or sliding will increase inaccuracy. These changes are designed to make sliding and jumping more situational, so they are no longer ideal options for engaging in gunfights and will contribute to a gameplay pace that rewards skillful movement without becoming too fast or unpredictable. Alright, so look at this. Was I using movement in this clip? Look at that. That was hit fire. Well, you'll see a type of clip or in my past videos, right? When you slide, first off, it takes a little while to ADS. And second off, the horizontal movement was already nerfed. You couldn't move your camera that much when you were sliding. Not for me, because look, when you slide, you're in that slide already, and then you have to adjust yourself. And then when you're sliding, you're moving your camera. So obviously, the spread in the game was making the gunplay in those type of mechanical environments way harder to do. And the thing is, a slide jump into a jump has been reduced. So that means that we'll be able to do one slide jump in like every 3 seconds or every 5 seconds. What sense does that make? Because then how are we going to get out of dodge of these dangerous ass tanks, these scary tanks in like pinch situations? That's way more like advanced situational than just a person like around the corner and another person that we don't know about. That's can be a dive. And the thing is, right? I know I'm going off the bat and coming in hot, right? But I just feel like saying this because it doesn't make no sense. I'm gonna go to the next one. There is now a greater penalty for consecutive jumps, which lowers jump height and when jumps are spammed. Firing while jumping or sliding will result in increased inaccuracy. Look at BF4, man. BF4 was the best battlefield in the environment for a reason, in a franchise for a reason. You had unlimited jump spamming, but then the gunplay was so good. You had the optic sway with weapon sway to make it more situational. And if you do it in an open environment when somebody is like already peeking at you, then you're dead. It doesn't make no sense to nerf the movement when if you are paying attention to the game, like this dude that wasn't paying attention and he got hit with a dive because he didn't look at me when I dived. It doesn't make no sense. So now the people who want to nerf the movement is probably going to go back to BF1, messed up the game, only good because it's environmental and immersion. So, and BF5 is basically going to stay the best movement game and Battlefield franchise, and the game isn't really that good. So the Milsim players are very happy about this. Sound like how it sounds on paper, it sounds like they're making Battlefield into a Milsim game. Parachute physics has also been tuned and reduced initial acceleration when opening the parachute for more controlled aerial environment movement, aerial movement. So look, the parachute was already broken. It should be fixed. It should just play like BF4's, you know, parachute and just like deploy when you're like 3 feet above the ground, so you don't take damage. Like it was bugged. So yeah, it don't matter. All right, now we're looking at the maps. We observed some players finding a way to reach rooftops and venture out of bounds. Good, because there was some gameplay. I don't know if I have it in this video, but some people was actually abusing that and they suck. That's why they didn't get no kills and wasn't on the board. This gameplay is not intended for these maps, and the upcoming ladder for the assault class is also not designed to access these areas. We are actively working on adjustment to prevent unintended access and ensure gameplay stays within the intended boundaries. We also heard strong feedback from players excited by the larger scale maps that Battlefield has to offer. While the open beta features smaller, more fast-paced maps, larger scale maps are already part of our launch package, delivering action-packed gameplay and memorable, unique moments for every player. As part of the upcoming Battlefield Labs testing, we'll be testing 2 new multiplayer maps, one set in Merrick Valley, the other a remake of the fan favorite from Battlefield 3 Operation Firestorm. These 2 maps include the full complement of vehicles like Liberation Peak, along with a more fast combat movement space. So look at this. Look at this. Hear me out. Please hear me out. So Battlefield 4 in Operation Firestorm, when you're playing Rush Attack, you have to push an open field until 2 warehouses. So look, if we nerf the movement, how the hell are we gonna get there without like being tortured through the desert 50 times before we get an accurate capture, a good capture? How are we going to do it? You have to either make the movement good or the whole game, the whole flow of Battlefield is going to be bad because we're the slowest movement. You have to update the speed in the game or something because the flow is going to be bad for the game. The flow is going to mess up the flow, the gameplay. The flow makes the gameplay, and the gameplay makes the flow. So if you're nerfing that, then how are the legacy maps going to feel like Battlefield maps if we're going to have a Milsim type game that the game wasn't even playing like that? You had mortars in the back in the desert on the tag, mortar in the you know the buildings in the outside area, and then you had to push up, but you can't push up because we can't move around horizontally. And if we smoke, we just have to go straight into the smoke and they'll probably know. So how what's the movement gonna do for that? What's the movement nerf gonna do for that? Alright, Mose, when it comes to Rush, the conversation we observed wasn't just about player count, but also about how maps play and the tactical experience they offer. So meaning the flow of the map. Rush is a mode with deep roots, originally known as Gold Rush in Bad Company, where matches typically range from 12v12 to 16v16. Many of you remember this as the golden era of Rush, and it continues to inspire our approach today. I wasn't around at that time. I'm not 50 years old. Sorry for the old folks with arthritis. So we've experimented with larger player counts over the years, such as 64 and even 128 player versions. While these matches created intense, fast-paced movements, they also led to issues, overwhelming defenses, stalled front lines, and 2 mini games ending in the first sector. Rush is especially sensitive to higher player counts due to its tactical and strategic requirements when a player tries to arm the MCOM while more than 20 opponents are defending. The intended gameplay becomes less tangible based on feedback throughout recent titles. We're lowering the default player count for Rush to improve the flow of combat and restore the tactical methodical experience that defines the mode. For those who enjoy large-scale Rush, Portal will allow you to experiment with different player counts at launch. In contrast, Breakthrough is designed to accommodate higher player counts of up to 64 players. That's where the mode really shines, using win-loss data from the open beta. We're continuing to make map by map balance adjustments towards our goal of 50, 50 slash 50 to 50 win ratio for both attackers and defenders. Oh my gosh. So the thing, so how they want to make the map flow better is to make less player counts for the game to make it COD. Make Battlefield's movement faster so the map flow can go faster because it will take very long to get to the objective, the MCOM, if you have slow ass movement with no movement mechanics. Look at Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4. They are considered the best battlefields in the franchise of Battlefield for a reason. This isn't modern, this isn't like the old times where you can sit in a building and just capture an MCOM. Yeah, I seen that Bad Company clip. You can't do that nowadays. Approach to the player counts. One more. There was some confusion around the number of players in different games, so we wanted to take a moment to clarify our current direction for how these get determined. Rather than locking maps and modes to a fixed player count, our philosophy is to adapt to best fit the intended experience. This may vary by map or evolve over time with player feedback. For example, at launch, some breakthrough layouts will support 48 players while others will have 64. It's the one of many factors we adjust to create the right balance feel for each scenario. And breakthrough, higher player counts work well on open dynamic maps, while smaller player groups offer a more focused experience on denser maps. Portable gives players the flexibility to try different settings, find out what works best for their group and playstyle. Find it. The right balance is an ongoing process as everyone gets familiar with map size, lanes, and combat spaces. For now, we found that 8v8 provides a solid starting point for small scale, fast paced modes like team deathmatch, squad deathmatch, domination, and COD. I don't like this. I don't like what you did, Battlefield Dice LA. I don't like that. I don't. Because you already have Battlefield at the pace. Who is that casual to want the game to play slower when in reality you can't make a game play slow? Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 wasn't slow. It you can't turn an arcade game into a milsim. You can't. It's impossible to do that. Because your core Battlefield player base are the competitive players, whether you like it or not. And competitive players actually help the casual players. They just don't want to learn. And it doesn't take that much to learn. It takes 30 minutes. Get movement, aim, you're done. You can find this, you know, whole thing that they said they reached the breaking point of the most people in the franchise history of Battlefield just on the beta. You can read this for yourself and the next steps and everything on X, Reddit, whatever, and find the original post that Battlefield literally just made. And yeah, I don't like it, man. Like I like a few changes, but I don't like it. I don't like it. Like the movement should stay the same. Just nerf the bunny fling. Either make it faster because we're gonna have bigger maps because we're gonna take 5 years to get to the objective, and to MCOMs it already takes years to get to the objective. And yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so yeah, hope you like, share, and subscribe. I stream on Twitch, Kick, and YouTube. You can check those streams out whenever I go live. And you can check out my videos on YouTube, because I will be making videos on Battlefield 6 and everything. And I have to take a break from this in 2042, whatever, because after looking at this, it's something wrong with it's something we don't know about. So that's all I'm gonna say for this video. And just because of a little clip at that, that's possible to be nerfed and it's going to be nerfed. But yeah, enough of that. And yeah, again, hope you like, share, and subscribe. And yeah, this is World Olives Young.